morning, dear professor. Today I'm going to reflect on a language production activity that I implemented with my fourth grade English students. The activity took place in an elementary school English classroom with students between 8 and 9 years old. The learners had a basic level of English and were familiar with common action verbs and the present continuous tense. During the lesson, students were asked to describe actions shown in different pictures. The objective of the activity was to practice oral production using the present continuous structure. I showed them pictures of people performing actions such as reading, running, eating, and playing. Students had to observe the images and describe what was happening. For example, they were expected to say sentences like, she is reading a book or the boy is playing soccer. From a psycholinguistic perspective, I analyzed activity using the stages of language production. The first step, in the abstract thought stage, students were able to generate intention to communicate. They understood that they needed to describe the action showing in the picture. Second, during conceptualization, students successfully identified the action and formed the message they wanted to express. For example, they recognized that a girl was reading a book and understood the idea they wanted to communicate. Third step. During lexical selection, most students were able to retrieve the necessary vocabulary from memory. They knew verbs such as read, run, eat, and play. So vocabulary was generally not a problem. However, the main difficulty appeared during grammatical encoding, which is part of the formulation stage. And although students knew the action and the vocabulary, they struggled to organize the words into a grammatically correct sentence. Some students said sentences such as, she reading a book or she read a book, instead of she is reading a book. This shows that they had difficulty applying the grammatical structure of the present continuous in real time. Finally, during articulation, students were generally able to pronounce the words and communicate their ideas. Minor pronunciation mistakes occurred, but this didn't significantly affect communication. Based on this analysis, I could make some modification to the activity. First, I could provide sentences frames such as he is or she is to support grammatical encoding. Second, I could model more examples before asking students to speak independently. And finally, I could use guided practice and pair work so students could practice the structure before producing complete sentences on their own. In conclusion, this activity helped me understand that students were able to generate ideas, recognize actions, and recall vocabulary. However, the main breakdown occurred during grammatical encoding, when they had to recognize words according to the rules of the present continuous tense. This reflection has helped me better understand the language production process and how to support my students' oral language development more effectively. That's it, teacher. Thank you so much.